Hey everybody, welcome to our show today. Brother Goodwin here, and this is Protestant Spotlight. Dr. Charles Hilton sitting here with me. Doc, we got a verse we're going to read today to introduce our program, and we're going to be talking about evidence of the end time.
They're everywhere.
We often call it signs of the times, but recently on a show, you mentioned that you had preached at your home church, and you had talked about evidences, like 40 different things pointing to the fact that we're at the end. And we got bombarded with calls and emails. Hey, we'd like to hear that. And so I said, well, okay, we'll do a show on it. So the TV show coming up, 163, am I right there on YouTube? I think it's 163. But anyway, whatever it is, it might be 164. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to record a show today for television on this subject. But I thought we would just go ahead and share with the radio audience as well as the YouTube audience here some things about the end time. Let me read the verse here that we chose. Matthew chapter 24, beginning in verse 4, and I think all the way to verse 8 here. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Doc, do you agree with me as I'm reading this and I get to that place? It says all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yep. It's almost like there's a comma there, and now he's going to tell us the things that lead up to the
exactly
end.
What it is.
And then and that's where he mentions nations going to rise against nation, famines, kingdom against kingdom, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places, and these are the beginning of sorrows.
We could spend all our time and need a whole lot more just talking about those very things.
But let's. You brought something in that you shared with me when you came in the door. Well, actually, when we sat down here, you were sharing some new stuff that you just heard about concerning the 10 kingdoms.
Yes,
I thought that'd be a good place to start.
I've always taught that and believed that when we come to the final days, those 10 kings are going to be 10 economic sectors. And so I've been hearing some different prophecy teachers talk about what's happening now with the BRICS. That's the new economic power that's coming. American dollar is all but phased out. There's going to be a new one established. It's amazing. It's established on gold and silver, on tangible things. But there's 5 nations. And right now there are 5 other nations that have put their application in to join what's going to no doubt become the main leader of economics instead of the American dollar. That's interesting. And I always caution myself, Dan, and I want to caution our audience. Don't just let current events interpret prophecy.
Right.
Because it won't be long. It might be something else. But it is an interesting thought.
I remember when the wall came down, a lot of prophecy people said, boy, now this throws a wrench in things.
Yeah, they just threw their prophecy away thinking it was all over.
And, I look at it this way, kind of what you're saying there. Daniel was told to seal up the book because Daniel was given some interesting things, but Daniel didn't understand it.
There's no way he could have.
There was no way you could understand what he was told at that time.
Right.
600 years before Christ or 500 years. And so he was told to seal up the book till the time of the end, not after the end, but till the time of the end. And I think we just read something about that.
Yes.
The end is not yet, but these things. There's these beginning of sorrows and birth pains and things.
Yes.
And so I think things are being unsealed rapidly. I think as one door opens, light comes in.
Yes.
And you can see 3 other things.
The closer you get to the light, the more details you can see.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening, I believe.
Yeah.
One of the things that you read there about the increase of earthquakes, and I read just this morning, they've closed the park out at Yellowstone.
Oh, really?
They closed the park at Yellowstone.
My dad's been telling me about that for years. He
That's
says that's going to blow half of
That's the number
America
one
away.
super volcano in the world.
Yeah.
And because of all of the earthquakes, they now have a ring drawn. You can Google this, and they have a ring drawn around it, which is called the death ring. Anything inside that ring is going to be almost instant death. And I'm telling you, I don't know what's going to destroy America. It may be God doing it like that, or we're doing it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things that we'll be talking about in the show.
Because I think you agree with me, at least partially. I know you and I don't see Babylon quite the same, but
Right.
we're pretty close, though. And I think you do agree with my statement that I make in my chapter where I say, don't look at Babylon as a physical place, but look at it as a system.
It's a system, and it's an ancient system.
Yeah.
And yes, I think everybody asks me, where's America in the Bible? And when it comes to the end time, prophecy has always and still yet and will to the end revolves around Israel.
Yeah.
And I think God has raised our nation up for a purpose. I'm working on a message to preach Sunday. When you walk away from the truth, you're walking away from anything that gives you stability.
Yeah.
And our nation walked away from truth, and boy, are we in great trouble.
And it's obvious, Doc, that not only Israel, but the four kingdoms
Yes.
that existed around Israel, Babylon,
Yes.
Persia,
Yes.
Greece, and Rome, and that Roman Empire never left.
Nope.
It weakened,
Yep.
and it split up, but it's still there, and we're part of that. We came out of Europe.
Absolutely.
Our country did.
Yeah.
Everything we believe, our judicial system, the financial system,
Yes.
all was things that came out of Europe.
We're Roman. Our laws, as you say, and our structure, yes.
Yeah, and there's a system there, and I think right now the belly of the beast almost has to be Washington D.C., New York combined. I mean, if you Google Babylon, and this is in my book that I wrote, if you Google the word Babylon in Google Maps or Google Earth, there's only two Babylons in the whole world. One of them's over there in Iraq, the one that we understand. Right. The other one's in Long Island, New York. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
well, there's one in there is a Babylon Road up in Michigan. I drove down it here road. Back. Yeah.
Everything in Michigan's like that, potholes.
No, Babylon Road. I thought, wow.
Huh. I'm not sure I want to go down that road. So, yeah, it's all fallen into place, and
yes.
the Roman Empire is going to come back to being run by. And I shared somebody on the phone yesterday, and I talked to so many people. I'm trying to think who it was. It may have been my friend in Washington State that gave us the calendars. And I think I was telling him, you got to realize when you read, especially Daniel and other places, when it talks about these kingdoms, in one place it's obviously, well, that's a place. The next passage, it's talking about a crown being put on a man's head. It's one and the same. You can't separate the kingdom from the leader of that kingdom.
That's right.
And they're kind of one and the same in their description there.
The kingdom, as we've already told our folks, the kingdom is already here, and the kingdom will be established. It's just the leadership role that's going to be given to someone, and I don't know who that is. The more I look at it, the more I wonder if maybe your previous selection might not be right, because my previous selections, he's having problems keeping his own country together now in France.
You know what just came out recently?
Yes.
Newt Gingrich. I don't remember what show he was on. He said that I know who's running the country.
Yeah.
He said it's not Mr. Biden. He can't even put two sentences together.
No.
He said it's Barack Obama.
Yeah, it's his third term.
And
it's pretty common knowledge.
To me, I'm not saying he's the Antichrist, but he's still high up on my list.
But there is somebody that's going to be able to step on the stage, and the signs are everywhere. No matter what you want to look at, whatever road of prophecy.
Well, we have to remember what gets him on that stage. I think there's two things. I think him being on the white horse in Revelation 6 at that moment,
it's got to symbolize peace.
Means that he just did something important.
Yeah. Something
we think possibly had something to do with Ezekiel 38.
Either that or he's going to claim.
Yeah.
I don't think he will.
But the second thing that's important that I think prophecy people need to understand, there's another beast behind the scenes that puts him there.
Yeah.
And that's the
Oh,
false
yes,
prophet.
that's the Antichrist. That's the devil himself, yes.
Well, the devil and then the false prophet.
Yes.
The false prophet
Yeah.
is the
And
one who points
you're
us to
seeing
him.
you're seeing the new wokeism becoming, and you're watching what we would call Catholic and mainline religions becoming woke religion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's becoming the largest religion of the
And
world.
so religion has become this political entity.
It is a political entity.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that entity is
And
going to push
even
people to-
even the Pope is now reprimanding American Christians for not being woke enough.
Yeah, and he complained.
amazing.
He complained about Trump's wall.
Yeah.
When he himself is surrounded by
And now
the wall.
now he's selecting people in his cabinet, so to speak, that are full-blown abortionists and full-blown transgender people. I'm telling you, it's all coming together into the religion to promote it.
We're talking about things that help us understand that we're at the end of time here. And now, in the 2 minutes we got left, Dog, tell them a little bit about that thing in Africa you were telling me
Yeah,
about.
well, the rebellion in Niger, there's a pipeline coming out of Nigeria,
Oil.
oil and natural gas, making its way all the way up toward Libya. And Niger now, the people have rebelled because Western powers, mainly America, France, and England, we've been raping, literally, the natural resources from Africa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Diamonds
so the
and
people
jewels and-
now have risen up, and Niger has replaced, and 25 African nations are now siding with Russia and China and have kicked out all the Western nations. They've closed down that pipeline. I'm telling you, the stranglehold that Russia has with natural gas and oil over Europe is, I'm convinced that's going to be one of the hooks that draw them into the Ezekiel 38.
Yeah.
To finally close it all in.
Doc, the only thing I'm wondering is why Russia hasn't moved yet. We've pushed them right up against the wall. We've censored their news. We can't even get the
Yes.
news that's from Russia. We
No.
have to trust our guy. And I
I'm
don't trust our
convinced,
guy.
the more I've studied it and watched people who know and understand, Putin is a methodical plotter. He's not one that just jumps out and does something. He's thinking 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, he's a chess player.
He's a chess player.
Yeah.
And we don't understand that, but there's a lot more to this thing that we've talked about in Ukraine than meets the eye.
Yeah. And I think the day is coming, and I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. I think he's going to Israel to take.
Oh, I know he is. The Bible's already said he is, and I know he is.
And I think it's just it could be a matter of days
And
or
with
weeks.
Israel right now dealing with all of the terrorist attacks within them, and all of that is supposedly because they've been bombing Iran's supplies up in Damascus, Syria. This is a retaliation. I'm telling you, it's ready to break out in a war over there.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. We are living in the end of time. We are living in the final days of the church age. The Lord is getting ready to have the trumpet is going to sound. The dead in Christ are going to rise first, and we that are alive and remain are going to be caught up. Are you ready for that day? I hope you're ready for the rapture. I hope you're saved, born again, your name's written in the book of life. If you need any help with that, contact us. We'd love to help you with that. But until next time, keep your eyes on them skies.